Hey YouTube. Okay, so welcome to another review of some camping hacks. Today we are going to review the KampMate wood burning stove. I've been using this pretty regularly for about a month. This is probably about the 15th time I've used this thing. It's very small, it's very light. And if I could get it out of the bag, I've never had it snag up. Okay, there we go. So, it goes together pretty easily. This is basically what it looks like when it's disassembled. And assembled, you actually get to see the assembly process. It's not... did I do it wrong already? Nope. Put 3 sides in. Floor has 3 tabs. Those 3 tabs line up with that, and then there's 3 slots for the 3 tabs. Then the front, you slide on like this, and then this one goes like that. We're all locked in. Then you got these tabs, and they each have a little slot right here, right there. So these could go upright or upside down. I usually just put them in upside down. And you don't want to force them. And it's complete. And you can see how gross my fingers are, because I've used it a few times, and that's what happens. So it's pretty sturdy. I think I read on the website that this will hold 100 pounds. And so that's complete. What we're going to cook on this thing on top is this Lodge 12-inch high carbon pan. So this item and this pan has changed my cooking life greatly. I can cook like a pro chef on the riverside. I have complete control. This is basically all the joys of a cast iron pan, but it's small. And as you can see, I put on this rag wrapped in duct tape. It's ghetto, but it could come off if I need to clean it. If I grab the pan when it's raging hot, which sometimes it is, I got it like this. If I want good leverage, I just slide it forward and I could grab it right there. So I get everything I want. Anyway, let's go ahead and light the fire. I'll show you how I do it on the campsite. We're sitting here in my backyard, so we have to pretend we're at a campsite. I usually have half a sheet of paper. As you can see, I have some pre-broken up little sticks that I'll just jam in there. And actually, I'm feeling pretty confident. I feel like I could light the fire right now and sustain it. There we go. Well, I think that this fire is going to go. It's getting awful close to not wanting to go, but I think we're going to be okay. Perhaps I should have gotten some smaller wood, but I'm living on the edge, okay? Sometimes with dry wood you could get away with quite a bit. I kind of felt like this is some pretty dry wood. Okay, I think we made it. So while this fire is getting going, I'll tell you what I like about this KampMate. So this big feeder hole is awesome. It's completely awesome for feeding in larger sticks. And you could just line them up and just keep jamming them in while you're cooking. And as you can see, there's plenty of good, these holes are good for servicing the fire. Once they get going, you could kind of poke and get the ash off the bottom ash pan. And sometimes that ash clogs up and it starves the fire. And you could just get a little stick and jam it in these little holes, and you could get the ash off the bottom fire. So you get plenty of oxygen. So it looks like we're doing good here. So let's load it up. Whoa. Let's load it up with some bigger logs. Okay. Okay, so that was pretty good fuel. Alright, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to move my drink away. It feels like it's getting warm. And I'm going to check to make sure we are really recording. Yes, we are. This, is, by the way, is my little remote control watch for my Sony camera. Okay, so lodge pan right on top. This sucker's going to get nice and hot. And today, what we have, let's just make sure, yeah. Today, what we're cooking is going to be a bunch of chicken breast. Okay, so let's load up this pan. I'm going to move the camera so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so I could cook this in 2 waves. Or I could cook all this in 1 wave. But for the sake of this video, we're going to cook it in 2 waves. Make it a little bit easier to watch. So, get it where you could see the fire. So I really like my little ghetto homemade handle. So you can see I've got plenty of fire. Thing's raging, isn't it? Now I have a 15-inch frying pan that I put on top of this, and it cooks great. But today I just wanted to show you guys what it's like cooking on this. This is my camping frying pan. Sometimes I feel it's a little too small, but if it were any larger, it would get in the way. It would be a little harder to carry. I think weight-wise, it's pretty good. It's somewhere around 6 pounds, so it's not nearly the 15 pounds that the heavy cast iron has. What else can I tell you? Once this seasoned, wow, just look at that. I'm going to interrupt my speaking. Just look at the amount of heat that this stove can generate. I mean, it's an impressive event. So I know that there's probably some cooks out there, some pro chefs, that are gonna say, oh, you're puncturing your protein. And it is true, I am puncturing the protein, but it's gonna get even worse. I'm gonna massacre my protein. I'll just set this here. So this might be a longer video than what you'd like, but you're going to get the full experience here. As you can see, that little KampMate stove is killing it. Incredible, incredible amount of fire. And to keep it going, you just push it in. And you could feed while it's going, while you're still cooking. There's other camp stoves that look like this. I really like this design. I imagine they work as well. But this thing is easy to start. It has a lot of air. And it makes the fire start up great, and it's easy to feed, it's easy to sustain. Now I have some bigger fat branches that we're going to put in once we get a good bed of coals going. Let's once again look at our rage. Let's look at our chicken. You can hear it sizzle. It's a pretty good fire. Okay, so while we're sitting here killing time, I guess I could move over here and put myself in the field of view a little bit. So let's talk about how I seasoned this pan. So this pan, I got it new about a month ago, and it had a rough pebbly texture on the bottom of it, like a lot of new cast iron pans would. You gotta, before you use this pan, what you're going to do to season it is you're going to put some heat, some oil that tolerates heat pretty well. My fire's escaping here. And you're going to put a decent amount of oil, you know, enough to coat the bottom, and you're going to put a lot of salt. And you're going to make a raging fire, about like that. And you're going to cook this pan for, I don't know, 45 minutes. And you're going to use a straight edge steel spatula, and you're going to grind that salt all over the bottom of the pan, pushing the oil and the salt. And if you do that over a high heat, you'll actually grind the texture off the pan. And it'll be nice and smooth and non-stick. So, here, I'll let you see how well we're cooking. Sorry if I'm moving the camera in the wrong direction here. There we go. Got to keep this camera away from that fire, because I'll tell you what, that fire is kind of hot. Just a little bit. Okay. I put a pizza wheel, my stone pizza wheel, underneath there so I don't burn my patio furniture. So anyway, as I was saying, when I seasoned it, I put a bunch of oil, some salt in there, and you just grind it with a nice steel spatula, aggressively scraping the bottom of the pan, and it smooths out. And coat it with some oil, wipe it with some oil, and this thing is very, very non-stick. I could not be happier with this pan. I could cook on my home top, I could cook on this, I could cook on the campfire, but you don't really want to be cooking on campfires when you have this. Campfires, they throw off a lot of heat, they make a lot of smoke. This thing you could set up in your chair right in front of you, and it's super, super easy to handle food. You know, you never leave your chair, you don't have to fight the heat of the campfire. You do have to feed it sticks though. So now we're going to upsize, see how big of a, you know, we're going to start putting in bigger lumber. Look how big this stuff is. So ultimately, this is what you're going to go after. You want about 2 or 3 of these big sticks, and you just feed those in, and that keeps your fire going. I usually prefer 3. 3 is the magic number to keep the combustion. Again, we're going to do the money shot here on the chicken. I'm going to move some of these side pieces towards the center, as it seems like that's where the heat is. Okay, so there's my fire trying to escape. So that's usually a sign that we got to push it back in if we can. So anyway, I'll tell you what, while we're watching this cook, I'll tell you about my beverage. So this here is one of those Walmart Yeti clone cups, insulated cup. And what am I drinking? So my favorite drink for the last couple of years has been bourbon with iced tea on ice. And I like it in these cups, especially when I'm camping, because you know you don't get a whole lot of ice melt and it keeps your drink cold a good long time. However, this isn't the cup that I bring with me on camping. It used to, but I've discovered that white is a much better color to bring when you're camping. So what is it, usually I'm out in the boat and it's sunny, and this cup will actually get pretty hot. The white cup stays about 20 degrees cooler. So go with white if you're going to buy one of these cups. And we're just cruising right along here. And I think many of you can see why I'm completely impressed with this KampMate stove. Okay, so we've come this far. Let's talk about chicken. Let's make sure I got a good fire. Now most of you would probably stop cooking the chicken right here. 165 is what you want. However, see this golden sear? I love the golden sear. And typically when I cook chicken, I want the golden sear. I want that sweet caramelization on all the chicken, not just the outside. So I will take my spatula and I will start carving it into chunks. And this is pretty ideal. This is how I like the flavor. Who knows, maybe we'll even, whoa, gotta be careful, not on the flat top. I'm holding the camera in one hand and cooking with the second hand, so it's tough. Alright, we're going to do that a second time after I rebuild my fire. So let's get the fire going again. Okay, so now we're in self-sustaining mode. We've got 3 good-sized sticks. And here, I'll just let you see the length of these sticks. See what I'm talking about? This is pretty much the ideal cooking situation. Every 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, you just got to push these sticks in to the fire pit. And that's all it takes to maintain a good, healthy fire. Oh, this is looking beautiful. I'm going to get the camera so you guys can see this. Okay. So look what we have going on here. Now, one thing that these cast iron pans do, and this high carbon steel, that you'll never get with your ceramic pan is, well, number one, you can't abuse it with this high of a temperature, big of a flame, and you can't abuse it with metal utensils like this. But you also can't get this caramelization. I mean, look at, you know, I have a friend who's a chef and he could express it in chemistry terms. You know, what happens to the proteins and even vegetables when you can sear them in a cast iron pan. It produces a flavor that you're not going to get in any other kind of a pan. So meals cooked in this thing is like a gourmet meal. This is going to be a longer YouTube video. If you guys are really bored, you could watch the whole thing. Some of you will be. This one's struggling to cut. Okay. Looks pretty ridiculous, doesn't it? Let's look at our fire. Look at my heat-proof handle. Oh yeah, we got it going on. Kind of like Stacy's mom has it going on. Alright. So, let's feed our sticks in. Oh yeah, that one really took a lot. This one, it's amazing. You know, whoever designed this little KampMate box is a genius. I mean, so this thing here, let's talk about this. This thing here cost the KampMate stove, I think it was like $20 purchase on Amazon. This pan is $32 on Amazon. I'll try to provide links on the bottom of this video. I highly recommend it. Here, let me go get a small stick and I'll show you how to service the firebox. Okay, so I have a small stick here, and sometimes you get too much ash down in here, so you just take a stick and you poke it around, and that cleans up all the ash, shakes it all off, and it falls underneath, and now you could get back to your good raging hot fire again. You kind of got to aggressively stir those coals. Okay. And my fire's trying to escape again, trying to catch my newspaper on fire. So the reason why there's newspaper here is last time I did this, I got grease splatter from the chicken on the table. And I got yelled at. My wife told me I was a bad man. There we go. Here's the Trinity, the 3 sticks, and that's the perfect cooking. Okay, let's look in the top again. Okay. Now this is I wish you all could smell this, but you kind of get the idea of what's happening here. I'm searing it and breaking down these chunks into little bitty balls of seared tastiness. And this has given me some ideas for some other videos. We'll make some recipes on this thing. Look at this little piece of chicken. He does not want to cut. But the rest of them, there we go. Maybe one day when I'm big time, I'll have a dedicated cameraman. I won't have to struggle and hold the camera while I'm doing this. So just look at that golden brown color. And you could see when I slice through, look how white that is. It's just chicken breast. And you can see how I'm not really doing anything. I did, I put a little bit of oil on the chicken, some corn oil to lube it up. And I put Montreal chicken seasoning. Okay, so now it's starting to flake. I think you guys can see how non-stick this pan is. I mean, nothing sticks to it. And cleaning it is easy. When I'm done, I'll just pour some water in there while I still have some heat, and I'll scrape the spatula around, and then I'll wipe it out with a paper towel, put a little bit more water in there, scrape it again, and then it'll be perfectly clean. I'll dump it out, I'll wipe it with a paper towel, and wipe it with some oil, and it will be done. Okay, so let's go back to the stove end. Okay. Three logs, that's what you want. Self-sustaining. Once you get the 3 logs, clean up the fire basket a little bit. Get some of the ash off. Allow the fire to breathe. Uh-oh, have a jumper. Jumper, go back. Okay, so as I'm slicing this chicken into smaller pieces, it's starting to shred, almost like a pulled pork. Okay, I'm going to go get a plate and put this chicken in it. Okay, so we're going to look at my chicken. This is what done looks like. And I know everybody on YouTube is an expert. They're going to say, oh, you overcooked it. You know what? I've been cooking longer than a lot of you guys have been alive. And I'm better than most chefs that I know. Maybe not better than you. But this is some seriously good chicken, and this is exactly how I like it. And no, it's not overcooked. It's seared perfectly. There's nothing worse than a raw piece of chicken. Okay, so I'm going to dump this. Let's speed this fire in a little bit more. Okay. This is approximately 3 pounds of chicken, and I've got another 3 pounds to go. And just so you know, I could have cooked all 5.7 pounds in this pan. See, look at that. A little bit of water and scraping, and that thing's clean and ready to go next time. We're going to put in the second wave. That's not going to be on the video, but I am going to get it started. And then I'm going to turn off this camera. And I see my wife just came back in with some Dewey's chicken. So I'm going to go inside and get some pizza. Oh, I'll probably eat it out here while I'm drinking bourbon and cooking chicken. Okay. So there it is. Hey, thanks for watching. It was a good time. I'm going to interrupt the video. I'm going to turn off the feed. Stay good.